So everybody get ready.
Alright.
And just take it. It's just casual, so no need to be serious. Okay.
Okay.
So okay. Everybody ready?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good evening to everyone. So today we are going to be discussing about a topic for our first draft, which is titled Electric Vehicles, Good or Bad? So before we start anything, what I want to do is we want to introduce ourselves. So I'm going to start with myself. My name is Hakim RAFIE.
Okay, my name is HAFIZUDDIN bin JUHARI.
My name is Tanis.
My name is AMEER.
And then that's our group. That's everybody in our group. So we're going to start with AMEER. He's going to be doing the introduction for this presentation. So let's start with you, AMEER.
Thank you, Hakim. In recent years, we have been witnessing the rise of electric vehicles. Governments around the world have been trying to incentivize electric vehicles for the public. They've done this in many forms. They are offering people who buy electric vehicles to get easier installments. They're offering them to pay less taxes. Also, more and more major car companies have started making electric vehicles because everyone is recognizing electric vehicles as the future of automobiles. Public interest in electric vehicles is also an all-time high. Polls in the US revealed that more people are now interested in buying electric vehicles than ever before. Next, we are going to discuss why electric vehicles, why not some other kind of transport. It is commonly believed that electric vehicles are environmentally friendly because when we drive electric vehicles, they do not release any harmful gases the same way that internal combustion engine vehicles used to. But does this make them perfect? We don't think so. This is because electric vehicles, even though they do not release gases while they are being driven, do a lot of harm in other ways. The purpose of this paper is going to be to discuss the current drawbacks of electric vehicles and to recommend the ways of improving electric vehicles. Back to you, Hakim.
So after the introduction, we're going to move into the first issue. So one of the main issues that electric vehicles currently have as of right now is the battery production. So as everybody knows, the electric vehicles run on battery power. Instead of conventional cars, they use internal combustion engine or ICE. Electric vehicles uses battery power to run everything inside the car, from the engine, from the tires to the brakes and everything. So since the first iteration of electric vehicles, companies have been pushing the limits on how well those batteries last. Companies like Tesla, Honda, Nissan, and all those giant companies, they have been trying to improve their batteries so that the range of the battery can last longer, so their usage can be extended to more range, so that their user don't have to charge too often. In the electric vehicles competition, the definition of a good electric vehicle is how efficient the battery consumption of a battery is. So as technology advances, we are able to overcome the limit that a battery usually have. For instance, earlier when the electric vehicles have started to produce massively, the ranges has been quite short, like 200 to 300 kilometers per car before charging. But right now, as of right now, Tesla has been able to make a car that can go around 500 to 600 kilometers. So for a user, that is very important, so that they can reduce the time needed to charge their phone. So as companies have found solution to tackle that limitation, another problem surfaces, which is how well or how efficient they can produce a battery. Because right now, battery production poses a threat to the environment. Battery production produces pollution such as noise pollution, air pollution, and everything from the battery production produces carbon dioxide, produces smoke that is essentially bad for the environment. Although we don't see it from the cars itself, we can search that the extraction of ores do provide to the carbon emission for the electric vehicles. One of the reasons for the pollution is due to the extraction of ores. The lorries moving in and out of mining site, the drilling of ores producing noise, all of that produce noises that can be heard from in the area of the mining site. Then the people living in the area will be directly affected by it. Their roads are going to be destroyed just because of the lorries coming in and out. So for the average consumer, for the people that uses the electric vehicle, they don't feel the pollution, but for those who's living near the site of extraction, they do feel it themselves. Another way is of pollution is the factory that produces the batteries. It produces smoke as well, and it produces waste material. The batteries used uses nickel as a main source of battery cell, and nickel, if not thrown out properly, it can pollute the river, and we can see it from a recent research that the people living near the area of river of the Russia has been affected by it. Everything was killed, the fishes was killed, so it's not good as of right now. So in reality, EV produces more carbon emission in comparison to an internal combustion engine. As of right now, EV produces more, just because of the battery production uses more. It produces more carbon than ICE vehicle. So as of today, EV have not produced the result that it has shown in the lab. Like, it has not produced the promise that it has shown during its early development. So people are being a bit skeptical on whether, electric vehicles, are they really the solution for our environment? Like, can we improve on it? Definitely. I think we can improve on it, but as of right now, it is still producing more harm than good. Okay. Then we're going to move into the second issues of electric vehicles, which is the source of electricity. So take it away, Tanis.
Alright, thank you everyone. I will discussing about issues related to electric vehicles. One of it will be the source of electricity. As we know, electricity is a part of human needs, and as without electricity, people couldn't carry out with their daily routine. Electricity usually, as we know, generated from coal or fuel power plant, and some that we didn't hear before, such as nuclear power plant, and most popular right now is hydroelectric power dam. In our point of view, electric vehicles require electricity to charge the batteries. As we know before, most of the countries, especially in this continental Southeast Asia, generating electricity from power plants. All types of power plant have same processes to produce electricity, which means all power plant required high pressure steam to rotate the turbine. That is the main objective. This is where the sources, either from coal, fuel or nuclear, required to produce heat energy to the boiler, to change the water from the steam to rotate the turbine. As turbine rotates in the magnetic field, current is induced to produce electricity. Thus, to fulfill the electricity required for electric vehicles, more sources required to use in power plant. However, using only coal or fuel produces other microparticle substances after the combustion, which we know as carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide. These particles leads to pollution, as percentage of carbon pollution emit to the air increases drastically, thus risking to global warming. Next, some countries using nuclear energy to produce electricity. One of the country is United States. Nuclear source is known to produce electricity without requiring a lot of money, which means nuclear produces energy from fission process. As a lot of safety measures applied to the power plant, there are still some incidents happen at nuclear power plant for years before, such as Chernobyl in 1986 and Fukushima in 2011. These major incidents released radioactive rays to the affected area, and it is keep affecting people around the area. Children slowly facing high risk of cancer. Next, more research to appreciate the water as it able to generate electricity. That is where more countries build hydroelectric power dam to fully use the water flow. As men wanted to obtain more achievement, especially in dam engineering, the result is clearly seen in the construction of the Three Gorges Dam, which locates in China. The dam is being built to overcome the lack of electricity which happens in their metropolitan city, Shanghai. However, the construction changes the nature cycle as the surrounding geography changes, and some studies realize that this dam slowly disturb the Earth rotation for a long time. There are some countries in Europe under the synchronous grid of continental Europe generate electricity with combination of 40% renewable energy, 38% from coal and 8% from natural gases. As we know now, electric vehicle charging station have been becoming a new business platform. This is because the number of efficient electric vehicles still not in the industry yet. The lack of business traders makes number of charging stations lag behind the number of growing electric vehicles. There are some companies such as EV Box and Charge Point, which only responsible to provide this service to EV users. Most of vehicle manufacturers focus more in vehicle development than research in building efficient charging stations. Meanwhile, different EV manufacturers include their own charging port and charging plug, which makes the charging station becoming less friendly. Thus, to wrap up my discussion, EV can easily replacing internal combustion engine vehicles by using more renewable resources to generate electricity and increase more charging stations. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Tanesh.
Welcome.
So that is the second problem that electric vehicles do have, but fret not, we do have a solution. As of right now, we can provide a solution to those problems, and I think Hafiz knows more about this than we are, so I'm going to give it to Hafiz.
Okay, thank you, Hakim. Okay, next. Okay, although there are issues regarding electric vehicles, it is unfair to completely disregard the capabilities that they can offer. This is because, as we know, electric vehicles has greater space, and they have the components are less complex, and also they have greater torque, so better acceleration. So many efforts have been done to overcome the environmental concerns of electric vehicles. Next, please. Okay, for battery, as it is commonly known that battery technology is evolving. There is a great potential for reduction of manufacturing emission, and lithium-ion batteries are rapidly developing. Other than that, Tesla company is now building a gigafactory, which is a large factory in order which the main purpose is to build car batteries. Okay, the gigafactory is targeted to have 100% of energy to be supplied from renewable sources, and the factory is located in Nevada, which in the past decades have been phasing out their coal-based power generation. And lastly, chemicals used in manufacturing the batteries are kept in closed system, which allows materials to be reused. Next. And for the issues regarding electricity source, companies are playing their role in order to make electric vehicle to become great, such as EVgo, which the largest charging network in America. They provide energy 100% from renewables, and Tesla company is now providing solar powered superchargers around the world. Next, with Paris Agreement being set, countries are now moving toward decarbonization. And in Malaysia, policies are being made to prioritize renewables power generation. Countries from Nordic region are now being example, especially in Norway, where 99% of energy generated is from hydroelectric and supported by wind and solar. Okay, thank you.
Okay, from that we can conclude our presentation. So I'm going to give it to AMEER back to conclude. So can you take it away, AMEER?
Sure. Thank you, Hakim. So after hearing you guys discuss the pros and cons of electric vehicles in such detail, the first question that comes to my mind is, are electric vehicles really good? Are they actually good for the environment right now? And the short answer to that question is not yet. This is majorly due to two reasons. The first one, as Hakim discussed, is that battery production of electric vehicles still contributes to carbon emissions. In fact, the production of electric vehicles contributes to even more carbon emissions than the production of internal combustion engine vehicles. This means that they are even worse at the production stage than what we currently have. The second reason, as was explained by Thanos in great detail, was that the electricity sources in most countries still pollute the environment. So even though the electric vehicle itself does not pollute the environment, the source from which it is getting its electricity is still bad. Therefore, the electric vehicle also effectively harms the environment. Next slide, please. So, how good are they? Well, studies have shown that over the course of their entire life cycles, from their production to their usage to their disposal, electric vehicles do actually result in lesser pollution than internal combustion engine vehicles. So they are effectively better over a long period of time. Also, the efficient production of electric vehicles could be very useful for economies where they are manufactured and used. Another advantage of electric vehicles, well, there are many, but most of them currently depend on numerous factors, like which country you are using them in. That would determine if the energy is clean or not. Next slide, please. So, now that we know the current state of electric vehicles, how good can they be in the future? Carbon emission in battery production is decreasing, so this is a good sign for the future of electric vehicles. This is one of the major disadvantages that we currently face, and the current trend shows that it is decreasing. So in the future, electric vehicles can be much cleaner. Also, companies like EVgo and Tesla are working on providing clean energy for electric cars. They do this by making charging stations that provide electricity that comes only from renewable and clean energy sources like solar and wind. So that is also a great indicator that electric vehicles in the future might be much better for the environment than they are currently. So to conclude our discussion, I would like to say that electric vehicles hold the potential to become truly environmentally friendly, and at the rate at which things are going, we might get to see that in our lifetime. Thank you.
So that is the end of our presentation or discussion, as you may. So I hope that everybody watching has been able to learn something from it. And if you want to use electric vehicle, I do support it, but do know that right now it's not very good, but we believe that we can improve it, and in the future, in the next 5 to 10 years, it's gonna be good. So I think that is all from us. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.